Welcome back to another rapid fire critique. Today we're going to take a look at Spencer's work, and we should probably get going. So let's start the timer and go. Spencer submitted these and indicated that these were made with beaded styrene. This is for D&D, Modular Ruins. And let's see here, we're going to take a look. Before I give any feedback, let's scroll through them here. Aha. Oh, I kind of like something going on there. Let's take a look over here. First of all, thank you for sending a nice big photo. This is the size and clarity people should strive for. Okay, let's go back to the beginning here. First, lots of good stuff happening here. He's working with beaded styrene, and he was mentioning that a few areas could use some additional coating to hide some of that. And I think that's probably not a bad idea. And if you do that, you know, like say right in here, this shows a little bit too much beads, but here he's coated it a little bit more, and that really helps to make a nice, effective sort of roughshod rock facing here, you know, and that sort of carries through the whole motif. So he's worked with that material, and I think he's done a good job. Just another maybe thin coat of, excuse me, maybe just another thin coat of some kind of, you know, thin down plaster maybe, or something like that, which will add a little strength, or maybe add just a couple bits of plaster into glue and wipe that in, you know, rub it in with your finger maybe. That would do well to secure it and make that just look a little bit more like stone. One thing that's always a challenge when you're doing a rock wall like this, and you have, let's see, wait a minute, let's go forward here. Whoop, oh my God. When you're doing a rock wall like this is to make sure that where you have these breaks, you carry that out so it looks like they're separated because you're carving it all out of one piece. That is important, and he's done, oh, very nice. He's done a good job of that. So here's what I'm exactly talking about, right? This little bit here. What else do I like? I like the little bits of foliage, and he's got a little bit in here and some grass along that. It gives it definitely a nice overgrown look. The bases, you know, he's unifying it to this, and he's got just enough to give it a little life, but not so much that it's, you know, arduous work. He did mention that he's using cardboard for the bases, which is obviously a problem, and mentioned that he's going to improve that. So I would definitely avoid the cardboard, and if you're going to use cardboard, seal this edge a little bit more so you don't see that layering that cardboard has. Now, let's see here. I'm going to come back to the top view for a second. I'm assuming this is representative of your playing surface, and even though that's not specifically what you asked me to look at, I would avoid these big rocks, particularly because there's no smaller rocks to tie it into the surrounding area. So these look disproportionate, right? If you have these, but you also have a lot of very small gravel around it, then it will look much more natural and blended in. So think transitions, even in particle size. See, he's got a couple small ones here. All right, I won't dwell on that, but you get the idea, I think. A lot more fine gravel to tie in these big pieces. But notice he doesn't have any on these. So you might add a few to make it feel like it fits this board better. I like this arch. I wish I had a good picture of the arch. I like that. What else would I improve? Here's what I would improve. I would add a few more small bits near these clumps. He's got a little bit of that going on right here, and a big clump and a couple small ones and a little tiny one on the stairs. And I always say plants, they need friends. They don't like to be alone. So I would take this dark green and take like a couple pieces, literally the size of this gravel, and put a couple right next to it, like it's growing out, and these are like little baby plants, and this is, I find that gives it a much more natural feel. Plus, oh boy, 5 minutes, never enough. Don't be afraid to use vegetation to hide mistakes. So this area looks a little bit confusing, you know, about what it is. Is it rubble, or, you know, here you're showing that bead a little bit. And instead of going back to fix this, why don't you just put in some big tufts of grass right in front of it, and that will hide it and add even more interest. And can I just say that I like what is going on under here. Yep. All right, I gotta wrap it up. Because this little floor underneath this is pretty cool, and it feels like it was protected and hasn't overgrown as quickly. I wonder about the height here, in that it's a little hard to tell, but I'm hoping that's big enough to fit a miniature with a little generous overhead, because most ceilings are gonna probably be 10 feet, right, in a normal environment, because you need 6 feet people to fit in there with some breathing space. So if this is less than 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches, I'd probably say 1.5 inches tall, then that might be something to fix on the next iteration. So let's see, wrapping it up. Overall, I think good job. There's a few things that can be improved. I think working with beaded, here again, right, areas to hide. Hey, don't be afraid to put, last thought here, I know. Don't be afraid to put some ivy-ish plants growing up it. Now that's tricky. A lot of people do ivy, not great. You can get some sill floor ivy. It's in their climbing plant section or something. Go to Scenic Express and look for their climbing plants, and they've got some ivy. And take thin threads, threads, not much, and walk it up some of these cracks like it's growing in the cracks, and then you could take some and overwrap it over this, and again, you're getting more hiding of the problem areas and enhancing the overall piece. So, and one last thought that looks good. This is nice. See, he's taken some nice big chunks, laid them down, but added a lot of little bits around it to tie it in. And that's really the right goal when you're creating ruins, right? You want to have a transition. Big pieces fell off the wall, small bits around it. So that wraps up another rapid fire critique. Hopefully you found something here of interest and maybe help. If you're interested in submitting to the rapid fire critique, you will see the little link section over here. You can email it. Just remember, look at Spencer's photos. They're nice, they're big, they're brightly lit. That is helpful. If you can check on the color correction, this is not too bad. It's got a bit of a bluish cast on it, but it doesn't take away from looking at the piece itself. So especially if you're interested in color, try to get it in natural light and use your auto white balance maybe on your camera. I think that's it. I got more to shoot, so I'm gonna wrap it up here, and I'm gonna get on to the next one. And hopefully you will come back and see the next one, because you know that I will be back soon with another Terranscapes video. If you've submitted one a while ago, and I appreciate your patience, and I'm gonna see if I can be a little more regular. We'll see. I keep throwing, you know, you keep throwing enough. Jesus Christ.